Hello everybody and welcome to the Fantasy Female Deku What If. It is finally time. This this is not quite the special, but this is a stepping stone to the special video that will coming up. Once the Ruby What If has ended, all the Ruby people can be excited for the next video that I post for this What If. Once the Ruby What If has ended. Now, also, want to give a small shout out from yesterday for a few of my friends doing a few things with me, like collabing with with their YouTube video. What I mean by collabing, I mean I literally collabed with somebody or my friend that had a YouTube channel. We were just goofing around and they were asking me specific questions, and I was asking them. Basically, I was answering them. That's it. They ask the questions, I answer them, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it wasn't really much. It was just us having fun. Now, I'm gonna shout out his channel here in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for a few of my friends that live in my neighborhood to do a short collab and also do some weird things while I was there. I was just hanging out with my few of my friends and they have decided to do a short collab with me on their YouTube video. He hasn't posted the video yet, it doesn't look like. But he'll post it eventually. Once I go outside and then slap his skull a few times, reminding him to post the video, he might post it. He might, if I remind him. Because he's an idiot for not posting it now. But anyways, yes, this is a shout out from me. What if Rogue Stories, and shouting out him because he asked me to and because he's my friend, I have to. So yeah, continuing on. If I didn't shout out or call out this man right here, this commenter right here, then I am a buffoon and a moron. This is a call out from me to you, Mega Man Slowbro. Yes, you are gonna be the literal person to shape this what if to be a masterpiece. You are the one to cause this special video and the next Ruby what if to happen. You're also going to be the one to basically shape the end of the Ruby What If I Was in Ruby, and basically make the two what ifs to what it is today. Even though you never commented on What If I Was in Ruby, you still affected it in this way by commenting on this what if. And all I like to say for you, my man, my friend, them, you are just, yeah, you are just, yeah, I have to say, you are, I need everyone to go down in the comment section below and just send this man love, because damn, he is gonna be the one to shape this what if to be a masterpiece on this channel right here. You will be written in history on this video. Whoever sees this video will know your name, Mega Man Slowbro. So thank you again, and yes, I will be putting your character in and introducing him to this what if as well, because you deserve it. You deserve that much, because you have basically given me an ending to What If I Was in a Ruby, and you have also given me a continuation for it. So thank you, bro. Now let's continue the what if. Julia, a girl that looks like 6 years old but really is older. She doesn't age and doesn't need food nor anything to love. She just needs to wander and do whatever she wants. If other people saw what she looked like, they would consider her a monster. Or they would consider her one of the beasts in the dungeon that adventurers go and hunt, and she would be a target if they knew what she was, and if they knew what she looked like. She would be she would be looked for on the black market for her interesting and very beautiful, I would say, looks and body as well, because they are completely made out of different gems. Her hair having a rainbow texture when it's in the sun and shining like it's basically a diamond in the rough. Her body giving off this emerald green shine, and she covers from her neck all the way down to her legs, with a fake type of paint that resembles skin and feels like skin. Her arms are like diamond liquid. They move in flow just like diamond liquid, and people would pay a lot of money just to have this stuff in their possession. She is basically a walking treasury. A diamond in the rough, literally. And her legs, well, her legs from all the way to her thighs have a black type of stone. This stone resembles as the universe, with stars in it, and white swirling lines going all around it. This stone could be one of the most strongest stones on the planet, and I'm not exaggerating. That's why you don't see her legs breaking every time she does something, because it's literally the strongest stone on the planet, and one of the only strongest stones on the planet. People would literally... She's a walking treasury, and I cannot exaggerate this enough. That's why she covers herself up a lot. She covers herself from the arms all the way to her head, all the way to her legs. You can see nothing. Because her hands are basically liquid diamond, she cannot make a solid attack. So that means fighting fist to fist, it's not worth it, because her hands just turns into liquid when it makes contact with a solid object. But she has found a way to move past that by equipping metal gloves. The gloves go all the way up to her wrist, the gloves go all the way up to her elbow, and they're all made of metal. And it's pretty powerful when she hits something. She also has gotten a weapon. Now, the weapon is a quite odd weapon. The weapon is a mixture of a wand and a sword. The sword being where the long stick approaches, and the wand being the crystal at the hilt of it, or at the end of the hilt. Where she holds the sword, the long part is the sword, and if she turns it around, it swaps to a wand. So, or staff, to be more specific. The staff has a gem. If you didn't see that weapon that I showed you in the last video, I'm giving you more of an explanation. So, the sword in general is technically a replication of a samurai blade, but just mixed with a staff. She didn't want to carry two weapons, both staff and sword, so she decided to put them as one. And yes, she has a sheath. So she sheaths the sword and keeps it hidden until she draws her wand or staff and needs to swap between the sword. She can unsheath the weapon and do whatever she wants. The weapon is basically rarity. The weapon itself is rank rare, or should I say it's just rare. Its type is rare, and the quality of it, it's like a 75 quality. So it's pretty tough, pretty strong, it's very sharp, very sharp. This stuff can cut like nearly anything, maybe cut through steel itself. You never know. Plus, there's going to be a few edits in Magic as well. A few edits that I'm thinking of, but not that much. And also, yeah, I'll be getting to a new character in a moment. but also a lot of the pictures have been changed. Why? I need to interpret that this guild is a magic guild and nothing more. So yes, I need to interpret characters that has a fluent thing for magic and not for close range combat. She's the only one that has close range combat and far range magic attacks. Also mid range magic attacks, but I won't mention that. Also, speaking of the other guilds, the Phoenix Guild and some of the other guilds that are out there are split into basically 9 guilds that are in the kingdom. 9 guilds being the basically being the worst of the worst to the best. But I can tell you now, the Magic Guild is rock bottom. Or should I say the Black Flag Guild, or the Alamantium, I cannot say that word, Alamantium Guild, is actually rock bottom. That and the guild that is on top of them is basically the Merchant Guild. The Merchant Guild of Boar, or should I say the Boar Merchant Guild. Yes, they are second last, and the one that is on top of them is the Sword Guild, or should I say the Class Warrior Guild, which is Bear. See, the guild that is technically the Warrior Guild is built of a lot of heavy durability attackers. Basically, people that can take a lot of hits and still come out like they haven't been scratched. But really, pretty slow, not that fast, and does a lot of damage. So yeah, they are tanks. Every member is a tank. And I can tell you now, a character that might be added comes from that guild and is basically, how can I say, he ran out, I'll not explain him at the moment, but I'll continue with Julia and what she's doing. Julia's busy basically heading to the guild at the moment. She's running across the city to get to the guild, because the guild is all the way on the opposite side of the city. She is planning to relocate her blacksmith shop to a different location. She doesn't know where. And also she needs a lot of money to buy a plot of land and then sell her old plot of land for whatever wants to use that plot of land. Or she can just keep both of them and just hire another worker to be there. Or change the building entirely to be something else. She doesn't know what to do with that old plot of land that she's gonna have. But she is gonna make her way all the way on the opposite side of the kingdom. And now I'm gonna show you something interesting. I'm going to explain how the kingdom basically looks. So the kingdom is split into 5 or 4 different levels. You have the mid-level, or the highest level, where basically most of the visitors are, because to enter the capital through the original entrance, as I stated, that gate, there's now a change. The gate that Julia came from is not the original entrance of the kingdom. It was only a side gate. And really, the side gate only proved to basically get in merchants and different materials from other kingdoms that is on the opposite side of the kingdom. Whether the main gate is where people come to visit, and you'll find mostly a lot of people. So that is the top floor. The second top floor is where I would say, the second and third floor is where all the merchants and shop owners are. Julia's blacksmith section is on the third floor. Yes, there are some basically shops there, but they are mostly, how can I say it, areas to sleep, or basically hotels, you can say, but in the modern old days. So it's a form of hotels, mostly hotels all the way to the 4th floor. The 4th level is where the guild is located. And the fourth level is the rock bottom, or the down dumps of the basically kingdom. But still it's used to do other things. That and the underground sewer system, and also underground water canals that exist. Yes, this is a very, very, very advanced city section, I should say, and she is on the second level running through the markets. She needs to get to an open area, so she decides to go on the first level, as there's a lot of people. I'm going to show you what they look like now. Julia at the moment is going max speed on the second level near the shipping bay. Or should I say flying ships. Or blumps to be short. People are basically docking down goods and other things from other countries such as the elven lands or maybe even the demi-human lands. Because both the elven, demi-humans, humans and other few different kingdoms and races have a peace treaty. Some of the other kingdoms don't agree with it, but yes, they have a peace treaty, and some of them are allies. So going up against this kingdom would be going up against all their allies and peace treaty members that they have, which is not good for the kingdoms. So usually there's no war, but there is conflict. She's going for the docking bay at max speed at the moment, as she is also going to pass a crystal cell, or should I say a crystal cell shield generator. It's basically the size of a gosh darn, it's the size of 4 tanks stacked on top of each other. That's how big the crystal is. And how wide it is, it's 2 tanks stacked next to each other. And you know how a crystal looks, so yeah. Plus, it also has basically 6 crystals surrounding it, being mana crystals. These mana crystals gather mana from the atmosphere or surrounding area and send it to the crystal, and it does this constantly. The shield is always active. There are supposed to be 5 shield crystals, so 6 of each crystal has 6 mana crystals, so you can calculate how much mana crystals there are, and I can tell you now there are 6 massive shield crystals that are the same size. I bet you're wondering, what monster did they have to kill to get this crystal? They didn't have to kill any monster. They just used the crystals that they've been collecting, such as the shield crystals and mana crystals, and fused them together to make a bigger crystal. And yes, you can do this. This is basically, you are able to do this, and this only the Holy Church can do. So yeah. So yeah, the city is pretty much protected from air and also ground. If the gods do their jobs right, no enemies or people that are shady with weapons that they think would basically come harm to the capital or anyone that's in it will get through. That's if the gods do their jobs right. And I can tell you, some of them aren't doing their jobs right. As we continue, watching as she jumps over a literal bridge that connected to a floating ship and jumped on the floating ship, basically rushing over the floating ship and then jumped onto the other side. She needed to get past quickly. She's by the floating docking bay canals at the moment. This is where flying ships come to dock or just float around, basically moving from aisle to aisle or floating section to section. If you didn't know, there are all 4 levels, and these 4 levels are being supported by by buildings that are underneath them. So if Julia drops down, she'll be either dropped down to the 3rd level or the 4th level, one of the two. But it's a long way down. So yeah, gotta be careful. But she is in a hurry, because she wants to get to the guild quickly. As she says to her head, damn, I gotta relocate my... I gotta relocate her blacksmith area to a closer spot near her guild. because it will prove beneficial for her and it will not let her be in such a rush at all the time, every single time. As she ducks under a cart that is moving across a bridge as she goes under it, as she is moving quickly. Julia's level, I think she was 25 or level 25. Quite strong for her rank. Her rank in the guild is still F. And she is going to start her official first missions in the guild and also meet some people, if she's lucky. If she's lucky. As she finally gets to the guild. The guild is on the lowest level of the kingdom, which is level 4. And yeah, that's where the guild is located. If the guild gets higher in its rank, or if its guild gets higher in its rank and actually starts completing missions that have a value, the guild's building will upgrade and maybe they can move their guild building to a higher area. Maybe being on level 3. But that's a wish that the guild master has. As here's the picture change for the guild master and how she looks. Ah, Julia, you've arrived. You're not late this time. As she's like, nope. I had to do a few risky things, and yeah, I kind of jumped onto an airship and jumped across to another side to not be late, but yeah, I'm here. Good. You can go to the receptionist there. She will help you pick your first mission. As she goes to a new receptionist. There are technically two new receptionists. There are two receptionists in this guild building. There's an elf, and then there's a demi-human, which looks like the guild master. Oh, hi. You must be Julia. The guild master said you are coming to pick your first mission. That's good. I got your first four missions here for you. You can do all these four missions today, or you can just do one of them, and vice versa. But you have to complete these four missions before you can move up a rank. Once you move up a rank, you'll be considered a guild member of this guild. This is only practice and test phase. So here you go, as she brings out four basically quests. Quest number 1, kill 10 slimes, obviously. Quest number 2, collect at least 30 crystals, or corrupt crystals. Monsters drop them after death, and some monsters drop 2. These crystals can be purified by the basically Holy Church to make some of the crystals you see now, such as gravity crystals, monocrystals being the most common, and crystals that have elements being rare or basically rare, super rare, or uncommon. But crystals that literally affect something, either the atmosphere, like a storm crystal, gravity crystal, or even basically crystals that influence crop growth, are basically on ultimate or mega rare. And crystals that are pretty big, yeah, you get the gist of it. Crystals are ranked as well. And depending on how big the crystal is or how small the crystal is, depends on your pay. So yeah. Also, monster materials you can sell by the guild. But Julia won't be selling the monster goodies, because she needs to grab monster materials to make more weapons. You see, the guild can also sell the monster fur or monster basically drops. They sell already the crystals to get money from the Holy Church. So they can also sell the monster basically leftovers or materials for a hefty sum for blacksmiths and other things to make new weapons out of. It's yeah. So they also need to pay the guild. They also need to pay the adventurers, so that's why. So Julia will either be buying materials from the guild or from the market, depending. Also, They don't just sell the monster basically drops or monster fur or monster flesh and even meat to just people like blacksmiths and stuff. They sell it to the market guilds, and the market guilds sell it to the rest of the people they have on their chain of basically marketing. So it's a flow of business and a lucrative one at best. That is a definite sure. And I can tell you more than 10% of the more than 10% of money goes to the kingdom to fund the kingdom's building operations and that stuff. So 10% of the money will go to the kingdom or the royal treasure. One of the two. Only 10, but still, it's a lot of money. I can give you an estimate of how much the guild gets money a day. The top guilds nearly get into the trillions per day, and they have more than 700 people that they have to sell their goods to that they buy. The money that goes in and out from the guild, from basically the merchant guilds, are a lot. And yeah, and only 10% of that gold that gets sent out goes to the kingdom. 10%, which is still a lot. I can give you more than like 3, 4 to 5 carts worth of just gold. And if you're wondering where the gold comes from, don't ask me. This world is 3 times bigger than planet Earth, so don't ask me where they're mining this gold from. Now let's continue. As yes, she takes the 4 quests. 2 of the quests being slime, kill 10 slimes, collect 30 to 20 small crystals or big ones, just corrupt crystals, 20 to 30. Kill two warrior slimes, only 2. And the final one is as followed. I'm so sorry, I really need to think. I guess it was, what was they called? Damn, I had the animal in my head. It's basically a wild rabbit. This wild rabbit has basically weird plants all over it. I think it's a fur something. But I had the name in my head, but now I can't remember the name. But anyway, as she grabs the 4 quests and heads out. To head out to more of the areas that are unpopulated, she's going on the other side of the village again, or the other side of the kingdom again. Why? Every adventurer that is basically in this kingdom takes the front door, and they hunt usually near the roads. But she takes the back door. Why? Because only a few adventurers, and I mean a very few adventurers, take that path. And also there are more monsters, and you also find bigger gems there. And also interesting monster drops. She's also planning to hunt something interesting. She's also running out of iron, so yeah, she's gonna need to go to to one of the merchant guilds or even the guild itself to buy some iron cores or iron basically stones that are there. If you're wondering what I mean, you're gonna find out later. As she heads off, basically moving pretty fast. Now, the sword that she has equipped, or staff, with the shoes and some of the clothes that she has, increases her speed by a heck sum. And number 1, her acrobatic skills and even parkour skills are high. She has a whopping 15 acrobatics and a 16 parkour, because she's been running up and down. It's quite increasing her mobility a lot. As yes, she is able to leap over gorges that some people would instantly fall down from. Some of these gorges and gaps being the size of an entire boat. Yes, that's how far she can jump, and that's how far she runs. She runs faster than a technical horse. And a horse has a max speed level of 35 and a speed level of the lowest 12. so she can nearly outrun a horse that is a low level speed. Yeah, she's pretty fast, as she only gets better the more she does this, as her parkour skills only increase as she tries to climb to get to higher areas. Yes, she could take the stairs or the easy way up, but she rather climbs her way up, because that places are usually crowded. As she climbs up a literal wall and jumps onto a pathway, basically running on. As this is what it looks like from above, as she climbs a literal wall to get onto a path and continues running. As she gets there, not in no time, but it takes a while for her to get there. As she gets out the gate immediately, saying hi to David and leaving. As David waves back, as she continues running at max speed, basically leveling up her parkour skills and her speed to actually 60 or 16. Better number, 16, not 60, not 60, it's 16. As yes, she makes it to a specific spot where she found a lot of those slimes that she has to hunt. As she's like, okay, now you all die. As she casts a spell. The spell is an aggro spell. What it does is it sends a pulse that just basically aggroes all enemies on her in a, I guess, a few like a 20 feet radius. As she enters a specific clear area and says the spell, as everything in a 20 feet radius aggroes on her, every monster. And she didn't expect there was going to be this much monsters. There were over 12 slime. There are 6 champion or 6 warrior slimes, 4 champion slimes, no, not a gargantua. I think it was uh, not a giant worm. It's a worm type monster that has the feet that is basically bigger than 4 humans stacked on top of each other. And its length is the size of 3 trees. Yes, she aggroed 3 of those things. A lot of teeth. She also aggroed nearly 25 rabbits at the same time. And now she's dealing with a heck some of them. And she's like, I think I bit off more than I can chew, as she unsheathes her blade and starts slicing and dodging, while taking a lot of hits. As number one, the slimes didn't die easily. Why? Because number one, you aim for their core and nothing else. The core is, there is an orb in the middle of a slime's body. It's been its core. If you cut that open, you basically kill the slime. Simple. But she can't get a direct hit because of the worms, rabbits, and even champion slimes. Champion slimes have mastered over one element, so they are able to use one element to attack. Some uses poison, some uses acid, and some uses fire. She got 4 fire slimes, 2 acid slimes, and 1 ice slime. Actually, there was 4, so it's 2 fire. It's actually 2 fire, 1 acid, 1 poison. And that's it, because there's 4 champions. As they are quite bigger than the normal slimes. And they have 2 cores instead of 1. So yeah, as she basically goes on a killing spree. Basically, she's higher level than them. And number one, she's quick at fighting. Her speed, or her basically attack speed, is ridiculous. Whopping 20 to 37 speed reaction for a sword swing. And that's with a katana slash wizard staff. Her spell casting is a whopping 25 speed. And she can cast spells fast. So yeah, the basic build that she's going for is speed and criticals and damage. Speed, criticals, and damage. She is durable enough to withstand a few hits, but speed, critical, and damage, the faster you take out the target, the less problems it will give you.
As yes, she cuts the entire worm's head off. Zam. As this thing drops to the down dead. Basically, she got 2 criticals and a damage buff. Her katana gives her a damage buff of a literal 1-5. And she has the damage that she already gives with a normal base sword is at least 1-3. So it's basically 10 plus 3 plus 10 and another 5, which is 20. It's 28 whopping damage. That's more than the worm's health. And the worm's health is literally 11. So that's double its health. And that with the criticals, which I'm not going to mention. Yeah. The slimes were the hard parts. She needs to aim perfectly to get its basically core. As here she wipes out everything. Her level goes up 2 and she is level 27 at the moment. She got nothing else that I need to mention, so yeah, she's continuing on. As yes, before she continues on, she needs to basically cut the monsters up and harvest them. So she basically cuts the flesh of the worms, takes the meat and whatever is edible, also the flesh and the slime liquid or the slime reservoir that was left over, and also takes the cores. Don't forget the core. The corrupt core is always purple. As she got 3 big ones. Now, a crystal that is a low level crystal, the size that as big as a low level crystal can go, is the size of one's thumb. So put a marble on your thumb, and that's how big a crystal can be for a low level one. And they sell for nearly like in gold worth, they sell for like 30 to 20 depending on the size. The smaller you get, you literally can get 5 gold for the smallest one. 5 gold pieces. No, not gold, bronze. Yes, because this universe, yeah, I mean keep on saying, but yeah, the biggest one will sell for 30 gold. The biggest one. And the smallest one will sell for 5 bronze pieces. There we go. I'm getting my numbers wrong here. But the merchant guild thing is still, they get gold. So the equivalent to gold, what is equivalent to 1 gold, is 10 silver. The equivalent to 1 silver is 10 copper. The equivalent to 1 copper, well, there's nothing lower than 1 copper. Copper is the lowest that you can get. So it takes 10 copper to get 1 silver, 10 silver to get 1 gold. And there is a higher level, but she hasn't seen that yet. And I haven't came up with a higher level than higher than gold. So yeah, literally when I stated the kingdom is 10% gold value from the merchant guild. The merchant guild, how much? Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating how much the kingdom gets. It's pretty a prosperous kingdom. But yes, there are some greedy people in this universe still, so yeah, not lying there. As she heads back to the guild, she got more than enough corrupt crystals. I can tell you she nearly got 25. She actually got 24. The 25th one, or the final one, the crystal she actually sliced in half by accident when killing a slime. And it was a small one. Anyway, she would have just got 5 copper pieces with it, so she wasn't worried about it. But still, she had to take the broken crystal and still give it to the merchant. Give it to the guild. The guild will the guild will sell it to the merchant guild or the church directly, one of the two. She also takes the slime reservoir, as I stated. The slimes that the champion slimes had elements, and even the base slimes had certain elements. Some were red, some were green, and oddly enough, some were purple. As the purple ones represent the corroding poison, the green represent the acid, and The red represented fire, and this stuff still had base elements to it. So that means she can light a lit. Also, highly explosive. The slimes in this universe, highly explosive. Think of it like gunpowder, but if you add an elemental infinity to it. If gunpowder exploded and ignited in fire, that would be fire slimes or the fire slime reservoir. If gunpowder could ignite and shoot out just buttload of acid everywhere, that would be the green slimes. If gunpowder could ignite and just shoot a cloud of poison, purple slimes. So yeah, she got a lot of reservoir and she collects everything. She creates bombs and other stuff with the slime, like leftovers or the liquid of it, as she has a lot of use with this stuff. As also the crystal she puts in a bag and harvests the flesh of the worm's skin. Also taking the, and how can I say it, the meat that is not edible, burns it or throws it away, or even yeah, just throws it away because she has no use for it yet. Yet, I say, she has no use for it yet. She takes the edible stuff and she's planning to give it to the guild. Fast forward to the guild. Da-da-da-da. And we're here by the guild. She solves everything and completes her 4 quests. The she the a girl congratulates her for becoming a member of the Black Flagged Guild, or should I say Alamantium Guild. Basically one of the worst guilds in the kingdom and the world at the moment. As the guild master states, congratulations from completing your first test in entering this guild. You are now basically, because she brought more than what she was supposed to bring, she has ranked up twice. She went from F to E to basically R. Congratulations, you are rank R in the guild now, I see. The rank R, all the quests that you can do is on the board right there. There are ranks to the quests, obviously. They are first determined. They read the quest, obviously, first. They put it on a paper and then put it on the billboard. They also rank the quests on how dangerous the quest could be. But rank R, you can now enter a dungeon, if she wants to. Yes, there is a dungeon somewhere in the kingdom. There is technically 3, because depending on the kingdom's size. The kingdom has technically 3 dungeons that exist. One is closest to the kingdom or the royal dungeon. That's where all the royal families and even high people that have a lot of money and also a lot of powerful gear go to hunt. Then you have or should I say the third dungeon. Basically, each dungeon has different monsters in them, and each depends on how basically where the dungeon is. The dungeon that I just spoke about, where all the royals go, that dungeon is ranked AA, double A, and it's a pretty dangerous dungeon. If you are not careful and you do not watch your surroundings, you will lose your life instantly. And Julvia, as soon as she steps foot in that dungeon, she's dead. That's it. So yes, she has a long way to go. Then we have the D plus dungeon that I'll be speaking of. These monsters are the monsters you'll find outside the kingdom. They're quite tough, but still, it's basically normal. It's basically normal level. And then the easiest dungeon that anyone can complete is no one has ever found the bottom of this dungeon yet, but it's still, the monsters are easy and quite, how can I say it, not that rare. With each dungeon you get different monsters and different sized gems and also different size material and also different materials. So rare monsters in the various dungeons and higher levels but also stronger,
low ranking monsters in the lower levels, but still dangerous. But still dangerous. Because number one, if there's no high ranking level monsters, they usually go in packs of 6 for high ranks. But for low ranks, they go in packs of 30 to even 50. So yeah, you can get outnumbered in the lowest rank dungeon. And this is just new concepts that I'm adding at the moment. As she's R rank, or should I say rank rookie. So she is only allowed to go in the lowest rank dungeon. And she is only allowed to go up to level 5 or level 5 deep. The dungeons are located at level 4 of the kingdom, or the lowest level of the kingdom, because the lowest level of the kingdom's closer to the ground. And yeah, they are not located outside, they are located inside the kingdom. There's no buildings that build over the dungeons. Reasons being, if monsters break out of the dungeons somehow, they break out of the dungeons, then they need no buildings above them. So basically less destruction. And really, there are not that much shops around the dungeon areas or the dungeon entrances, because it's usually dangerous there anyway. As some of the monsters that you have to hunt are not usually outside the forest, they are sometimes in the dungeons. And she has access to now the billboard of, or should I say the quest board of dungeons. Dungeon quest board. So there are two quest boards now. You have to remember. There's the original quest board that she gets her missions from. These anybody can take from that quest board. They can either find the monsters outside, or they can either do quests for people to like protect, escort, wipe out a goblin, basically a goblin camp nearby, etc., etc. But the dungeon quest board is for all the monsters that are in the dungeons. So yeah. And there are also specific kill quests in the dungeons. So usually the people that only like give out these quests and give people money are adventurers, because it's usually the adventurers, if they lose the entire party or all their friends died and one of them survived, they would put out a kill quest or a targeting quest, to be more specific, as they would explain how the monster looks and who they are, what the target they want, what is the target of the monster. Then they would give a sum of money and a sum of rewards for whoever adventurer kills the monster. Basically being in a revenge. It's a hit quest. Now, I bet you're wondering, I'm explaining this to you, but at the same time, in this world, the what if world, the guild master is explaining how the dungeon quest board works. If you lost someone or someone died in that dungeon and you want to kill a monster, just give its rank, its level, its name, what it looks like, what's the name, like what's the type or name of the monster, how rare it is, and the sum of money and rewards you would give for adventurer to kill that thing. Also, every boss that exists in a dungeon always has a kill quest active. And people that have already killed the dungeon monster cannot kill it again. So yeah, it's a repeated thing. So you can take a quest for the first dungeon monster, kill the dungeon monster, but you can't pick up that quest again because you already killed the dungeon monster. They mark you off the list of killing the dungeon monster, this dungeon monster. They check that quest, and then they take it from you, and you cannot take that quest even again. Then you can kill the second highest boss monster, and vice versa. That's how it goes. As she's like, so I can enter dungeons now. Yes,
But be careful. The monsters in dungeons are very sneaky. They are not like the monsters outside. They are more sneakier. They plan. Any person that enters a dungeon alone is under threat of getting ambushed by monsters higher level than them. Monsters are quite smart down there. They have adapted to the humans hunting them inside those areas for a while now. So be careful. You never know. You would be outnumbered in an instant if you are not watching your surroundings. And also, number one, don't pass out in a dungeon. You're basically gonna be a sitting duck in a dungeon if you pass out. Just a warning. Now, for her to ascend to the next dungeon, she needs to complete this one. That's the simplest thing to do. Complete the easiest dungeon to get to the next dungeon. Or you can rank up to a higher level, or level up, or rank up in your guild. And if you reach a specific rank, you are automatically able to enter a different dungeon than the easiest dungeon out there. Say now you're level 150, you can enter, and you're still entering the easy rank dungeon. You'll be wiping out the monsters there like it's nothing. So they usually let people that have reached a specific threshold in their level to go to different, basically, dungeons. And yeah. Also, the guild master stated to go in a dungeon you need to have at least one member with you. From this guild or from another guild. So that's the only thing that is holding her back from going to guilds. And she's like, ah, damn it. I guess I can do a dungeon, but if I find somebody that can adventure with me, this is gonna be bothersome. As she heads back home. As she didn't give the monster stuff in, but what she did do is ask if she could buy some, basically, ore or iron ore from this guild. If anybody has hunted any monsters that are in caves that have a lot of worth of iron, she would like to get the iron, how can I say it? The iron crystals or the iron ore that they have dropped. As the guild gives them a sum of money, and she's like, I don't have that money. As the guild master stated, suggestion, you go to one of the guilds. You go to one of the other guilds, or the merchant guilds. They will give you more of a, basically, they will give you more of a price that you can negotiate with. The reason why we ask for this, such a ridiculous amount of money, is because we're not a merchant guild. We are technically not allowed to sell to other people other than the merchant guild, but we do. And if we do that, we ask for a lot of money. So it's better for the merchant guild to buy stuff from us than it is for you to buy stuff from us. Because, yeah, you're gonna pay extra for that stuff. And she's like, I'm off to the merchant guild, I guess. Oh yeah, final suggestion. I suggest you go to the Boar Merchant Guild. Even though they are the worst merchant guild in the kingdom, they are still basically, they are allied with us, and we usually sell all our goods there. So ask them. As she thanks the guild master for giving her that advice and heads off. As the guild master knows she's a blacksmith. As yeah, the guild master just continues doing what she was doing. She gets to the merchant, or should I say the bull merchant guild. As it's quite big. It's not that fancy as some of the other merchant guilds. And I can tell you how merchant guilds look. They literally look like banks. Now if you enter a bank, how it looks like that. You have people sitting behind a desk, and then there's windows. You can ask for a certain thing, ask for a certain price, or ask for a loan, one of the two. It's basically a bank. But this is the worst bank, called the bull merchants, as she enters, looking around and going to a receptionist. Hi, what would you like to purchase today? Um, well, I need a supply of iron. Badly. I am running out fast. As as the receptionist states, no problem. I just need you to fill a few forms and also fill what business you are doing. As she fills a few out forms stating her business and what she is making. She's a blacksmith, obviously. Her location on where they should drop basically the stuff, and they offered a pretty good deal, as she had to accept it. As number one, she saved money. She didn't have to pay her entire, basically, she didn't need to sell her entire gosh darn, how can I say it? She didn't need to sell her entire blacksmith to her guild just to get iron, as she got at least one crate full of just iron. And she's like, this is gonna last me a while. As yeah, now you got everything, but I'm not quite done yet. I'm not gonna stop the video yet. Now, before I continue on to the next day, I'm gonna put on pause here. And I'm gonna do a few things. So, yeah, it's going on pause in 3, 2, 1. Back again from that short pause. For you, short pause. Ah, jeez Louise. For you, it was a short pause. This verergst me. This thing is gonna go dead. And when it goes dead, the video is gonna cut. And then I won't be able to do shiz. And I have to make another one. But at the moment, I'm gonna stop it here. There's gonna be, this is part, I guess part 3 or part 4. Part 3 or part 4.5. This is part 3 or part 4.1, because there's gonna be another part to this. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!